What's up, guys? I don't know what we're going to call this build series, but this is my son Cody, and I'm teaching him how to sew this. This is a 32-inch rifle bag. So you're not going to have a whole lot of up close, but there'll be conversation that's probably beneficial to you if you're trying to sew any of this type of stuff. We do have a video zoomed in showing how to build this, so check out that video. We'll put a link in the description, and it'll probably pop up here in a box at some point.
Maybe 20.
You think? I was thinking like 5. Maybe
well, I mean,
20.
I've piddled around a lot.
Yeah.
Not much in any real capacity.
So he has not made any full projects, not this big anyways. He's done some smaller things. He messed around on this machine just to see which of these 3 he wanted to run last night. And there's a couple pieces where he's just sewing little pieces of Velcro on. He's done some hems. So if you've never touched a sewing machine before, you're not real far behind where you should be able to do this. So we've got 2 of these rifle cases that Cody's cut. He's been cutting all the rifle cases that I've been building. We've got the parts here. Most of them are already marked just to speed this video up. It's already going to be really long. And again, we have a video close up. Where we're kind of headed with this, I think, is that we're going to do some seminars and workshops and just have a small group of people come out here on a weekend and build a project and run the machines and just learn how we do things and see firsthand in person. So that's kind of, I think, maybe where this is leading. But we'll just start right here. The first thing we're going to do is the zipper pieces, because there's quite a few pieces. I like to use process of elimination. We start with a big bulk of material, and I like to get rid of the pieces that you absolutely know what they are first. So we'll start with the zipper and the zipper lips, the long pieces that the zipper is going to sew onto. We'll put the zipper on those. We'll hem that back, exposing the zipper, and then we will put the Velcro on, and then we will put the sling attachment, the shoulder strap attachment pieces, and then we will try to remember to put these zipper pulls on, because remember when I said that the other day? I built a rifle bag and had that sucker all the way to get ready to put the faces on, and I didn't have zipper pulls on it yesterday. I've got a rifle case I went to ship to a guy too, and I forgot to put the sling piece. There was no sling on it. You couldn't put a shoulder strap. So his is already built and shipped though. I already got it handled, so I have that other one. First thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna take one of these zipper pieces, and we're going to face the track of this zipper. I would take your lighter and just burn the fuzz off of these a little bit.
Oh, that's crooked.
You don't have to do this, but I always cut these zippers an inch or 2, or a couple inches long also. Depending on how you apply drag on this as you're sewing and what your particular machine's tension is, a lot of times it will shrink these up. So, or you might shrink the zipper up. That's why I always want to have it longer. We can fix that if we need to.
So you got back side of the material up?
Front side of the material up. The pattern, yep.
All right.
The exposed edge. All right, so we're going to start. I'd start about a 1/4 inch past here, and I would needle strike right there and get that needle in there a couple.
You right on the edge, like edge to edge?
Yeah, right on the edge.
Then how far are you over?
What do you mean over?
Like where your needle is?
About a 1/4,
So to the outside of the foot?
Yeah, get as close as you can. Yeah. You in?
Yeah.
All right, run it. Sew this all the way down. I'd go ahead and get a couple stitches in and then back tack it a couple to lock it in there. The more you back tack, the more it's going to shrink it up. So just a stitch or 2, lock that in, and then we're just going to zip this. We're going to sew all the way to the edge. Now look at your project a couple inches at a time, and course correct that zipper right to the edge of that material, and then move your finger a couple inches. So we're not looking at 40 inches of work here. We're looking 2 inches at a time. And I got my fingers back here between, I have this one here and I have this one here. So I'm holding both of these with these 3 fingers. And then I can kind of move them and adjust them as I need to. And I'll kind of put it in place and then hold it down with this finger and then sew to that finger. Guys always ask, how many times have you sewn through your finger? And I'm like, I don't know. How many times have you shot yourself in the dick? And they're like, what? Yeah, you're not supposed to shoot yourself with your fucking gun. Your gun doesn't go off. You're not supposed to sew your finger. The answer is 0. I've never put a needle through my finger. Everybody always has a story about, my mom sewed right through her finger the first time. No, she didn't. Home machine won't even go that high. It didn't fucking happen. It's like those dudes that are like, I ran over a rattlesnake. It was across the whole 4-lane highway. No, you fucking didn't. It didn't happen.
Yep. Ah.
Are you off?
Yeah, it kept walking off.
Go ahead and
It didn't look like it.
Here, this is how you do this, right here. More than you probably need to, but now you can just pull this out of here. Yeah, you did. You're sewn in for real here. There we go. So I wouldn't even worry about this here too much. I would just take this thread and cut this off right here. Where's the other half of that? Up there, we're good. And then just, I wouldn't tack back or anything. I'd come 2 or 3 stitches and start here and then just continue.
Okay.
And then when I'm doing this, I'm holding this, I'm adjusting this back here.
Yeah.
And I'm just holding it in place here. I get this to where I need it, hold it, and then sew to it, and then bring it back. So my hands are back here.
Yeah, I thought I had it.
Here. Don't hang it. Make it so that you just barely see the edge of the material.
Does the machine have a tail to one side?
That one especially. No, maybe it was this one. When I
It's
sewed
that new one over there.
I sewed on one of them. I'm like, holy shit, this thing pulls.
So as you're pulling material, it's like,
Well, fast, when you go fast, it will. And usually that's just one of your foot is tilted or something. Or bent. You gotta figure that. We have machines in here that were in South Africa 20 years ago. I have machines that came back from, they had stickers on it that said Eagle Industries that had come out of the Dominican Republic because we offshored all our sewing. And then when companies were standing up Berry compliancy and stuff, trying to stand up in the United States, there was no equipment here. They had to bring it in from offshore. They had to come back in. My buddy Nick ran a big sewing company. He went to Africa hunting and then went and bought a bunch of sewing machines and shipped all the sewing machines back in shipping containers. All right, let's see it.
I think I figured that out now.
Yeah, I'll show you another way that maybe we should have done it.
I've never done this before. This is new to me.
No zipper ever?
Nope. Nope, no zipper. Got better there after I figured out what I was doing.
And I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. Like they have zipper feet and stuff specifically for this, but I've never used any. I'm gonna show you another way here now that might make it a little easier for you. When you sew this, we'll do the other side. When you sew this, I don't know, that might make, I was gonna say we can sew from the other side and this works as a guide. Mm-hmm. But that'll pull it off. That'll probably make it worse. Let's just go ahead and we'll do this the way I do it. So right now we're gonna take that, now that that's sewn in there, we're gonna take that and we're gonna come right back around here. And that should be the skinnier side. You should be closer now on this side. This is the skinnier side of your foot. I'm gonna tack that right there, you saw that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to let this follow. And I can kind of guide it with my thumb.
So you're running through second line?
Uh-huh. But it's gonna push against that zipper track and it's gonna work as a guide. Especially since you're already sewn in. And I got my thumb up here, working to pre-press it down. Right at the edge, tack it back 1 stitch. All right. Now, we're going to grab the other long piece of Cordura. And we're going to pull this right back here. And we're going to start this right equal with this. So the zipper, just line them up, back to back, face to face, just like this. Turn that over. There you go. Nope, turn your material over. The one in your other hand. There you go. Now, flip that around. Look how I have it here, face to face.
I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at here. There. That. So you're going to run back down just like we did the first time.
Yep, you're going to mirror it. It's going to be identical. Yep. Just kind of set that as close as you can so it's right across there, perpendicular. And we're going to tack a couple stitches, lock it in, and then we're just going to travel. We're going to guide this side of the zipper the same way we did the other one, right on the edge of that material. Just barely enough that you just know the material's there. Close to the edge as you can get. And be cognizant of the tension you put on that other side. You want to duplicate it, because if we have more bulk here and we're kind of fighting this zipper and it's a little stiffer, if you apply tension here, you're going to find out that this comes out short. And you're going to also get to a point where this zipper is wanting to wrap back under. Just pull it back out so you're not fighting it. Take the needle out. You don't even have to cut them. You can actually do all of these without cutting any of it. Now just get you set back up. And the reason I say you don't have to cut it is because if you don't cut it, you can just hold it right here and we don't have to worry about grabbing those tails. Now you're just going to come right
back up for
back
the
down
second
that
on that
zipper
side.
track just the same way we did. Now right here, this is going to want to pucker up here, okay? Your job here is to hold this with your finger, and that's just to smooth it out, and you're just going to let the work travel down the zipper track here. It's going to guide itself. And you want this other hand pre-staging this so that you can smooth this out right here. Ran out of thread. Are they about even on both ends?
I mean, maybe 1/16 to 1/8 off.
Yeah, that's good.
Pretty close.
That's good then. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this, you wanna hold these, we're pulling this back over, okay? You want the zipper flat here. So I'm gonna we're gonna sew one side at a time, obviously. Mine's way off, mine's probably 1/2 inch off. Okay,
So what?
we're gonna sew right on this
All right,
edge
so
here.
you're face up.
Yep, we're gonna sew through the zipper, and that, where we just sewed, we're gonna bring it back and back hem it. We're gonna hem it back over. And we're gonna spread both of these as we go, every few inches, and we're gonna put our hands under here and get this zipper flat because it's gonna it wants to flip around and twist. I don't know if they make it. I know they custom make an attachment that'll do all this in one pass on a double needle machine, but I'm showing you guys how you can do this with just one sewing machine that you have. And custom attachments are anywhere from $750 to $2 grand, so. Try to get closer to that if you can. Pull this all the way out, which it seems that you want it to look like this right here. All the way, which I think you have, but so as close to the edge as you can.
So one thing I've noticed as I'm pulling this, the back of that zipper kind of wants to roll under, so I'm trying to keep that flat at the same
you
time.
want to hold it. Don't worry about this side. Hold this here
Okay.
and hold this, and then just pull this, and you want to sew as close to the edge as you can.
Okay. So I keep using that inner foot as a guide.
I understand. All right, leave the thread connected. Bring your needle up, pull your work out, flip it around. Now do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm just gonna hold this thread up here out of the way with my finger, tack it in. Now we're ready to run. All right, flip the work over. Let me see that.
Not horrible, but not as
was
bad as
pretty
I
good.
expected.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The lines are straight. Stitch pattern's good.
I don't feel like the lines were straight.
Okay, so see here where you come
Yeah, I kind of
in a
weave
little
back
bit,
and forth, yeah.
but it's not make any difference in the finished product other than
No, it's just
the look.
aesthetic at
Okay,
that
so
point.
we're gonna flip this over now. And we're gonna sew right down the outside edge. You're gonna use this as your guide, and you're just basically putting a second line. All you're doing is locking this in.
Okay.
Most companies don't do this. Most companies will do all of this in a single pass. You don't have 4 lines of stitching. You don't have 2
So as
or
soon as
3.
one blows out, you're fucked.
That's right. That's right.
So we going,
Outside edge.
let me see where you're at on that. Okay.
And then we're gonna flip the work around and do it. And that's just because I want my work, I want my needle on the right side of the work. You could do it the other way. You being left-handed, it might be easier for you to put the work on the inside.
Having not done this any certain way already, I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter to me.
And you can drive this, you can steer this back here. You can steer the work with your fingers here. This machine sounds dry.
The perspective from I'm sitting here doing this and he's finished, back and forth, go do something, finish, back and forth, go do something. I'm like, holy shit. I know previously you said on some machines that you want to slow down before you reverse.
I don't remember why I said that.
I just know I've heard you say it.
Slow down before you revert. Yeah, because you're going fast, and it's less controllable going the opposite direction. So if you jam, plus it's gonna
I
wanna
figured it's
pull or
just
shift the
jarring the
work.
shit out of everything internally.
Probably that too. All right, now we're gonna flip that. And we're gonna sew that other side. Whatever that little squeak was, it went away. All right. Now, we're gonna flip the work over. Are you good?
So I've got, what caught my eye is that looked like it was straight line in there. And then half of this one runs off and on there. Back and forth.
You don't have a second line on this one. Did you sew both sides twice?
Yeah. Well, I have the second there, and you can see here, unless that's from
Okay,
the
this is
forward.
what it's supposed to look like here.
Yeah.
See how I have this spread out about a 1/2 inch?
So I was too close to the inside, or
Yeah. Your zipper's laid in the right place. You just didn't have enough to. I see the 2 lines. You just weren't close enough in. Give me that foot space wider. Okay.
Oh, well.
All right. You're still sewn in well. We're going to take this and we're going to take one of these long 2-inch strips.
The loop.
Yep. Hook and loop. Guys call this Velcro. Velcro is a registered trademark. It's like Kleenex. What it is it's hook and loop. And the loop is the soft side and the hard, scratchy side, that's the hook. So we're gonna line this up right here on the edge here. And then we're gonna sew it right down the zipper. We're gonna come back and then sew it back up. So we wanna put this right inside here.
And that's right up against the zipper there?
It is. It's right against the zipper and right at the edge of the material. When we run, we'll run 100 clothes bags at a time, and we'll do zippers like this. And I'll do them all in a chain, all 100. We'll do this whole thing that we just did, one pass, and then I'll rip them all back and stage them, and then I'll just set that second track and just sew. And when we get to that part where that zipper is, all I'm doing, I just sit here and I can run through the phone or whatever, because the machine will pull it through right against the zipper and it'll sew that whole line. And then once we have all 100 of those, both pairs, then we just scissor cut them at that point and pull the pulls in. As you're doing that, take your material right here, Cody, and like swipe it back, try to flatten about 6 inches, sew, flatten 6 inches, sew. There is something in this pre-workout I keep getting that's super bitter, like the powder at the bottom.
All the unmixed pre-workout
Yeah,
at the bottom.
vitamin, whatever that. They're like, this tastes too good. Put some horrible shit in here.
Make it taste like soap.
Make it taste healthy.
Get it. I feel very underprepared for this.
Well, I mean, You'll get it. I've been doing it
Longer than I've been
almost
alive.
twice as long as you've been alive.
As soon as I started this, I ran off the edge with it.
Did you sew it back in?
Yeah.
Let me see it.
It's like bunched up and wavy almost. Like everything curved.
It's just how you're holding it. It's just how you're holding it. So we're going to take the exact same thing.
Is it supposed to come out longer?
Is what's supposed to come out long? The zipper?
The Velcro.
Yeah. Yeah, they come out. They do. But if you, you'll learn how to apply pressure on them, and you'll be able to change where that falls.
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to manhandle it.
You are. You're just not used to it.
Yeah.
You're looking at a 40-inch piece of work, and the weight of the work is pulling, and you're adding more weight to it
Yeah.
every time, rather than smoothing it out 6 inches, and then
Right.
smooth it out, and then push, feed it in. And then back here, but if you watch me, if you stood behind me, you would realize as I'm doing this, I'm already pre-staging this back here with this other
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah, I'm fighting back and forth.
But I've done it thousands of times. I know what it's going to do. Now do the exact same thing with this piece of Velcro here. And then just chase it down the zipper, come back, and then sew it back in. See here, watch here. So I sew it for a couple inches, watch me.
Yep.
I sew it a couple inches, and then I pull this and get this straight and lay this in here. And now I've held it here. Now I'm just gonna sew to here, and then I'm gonna do the exact same thing right here.
You're just shuffling.
I'm just laying it flat, getting the work flat. And if you get in the habit of doing that, it's gonna be mirrored on both sides. Everything's gonna be the same. And then you'll also find what just happened here is I had my wheel of my
Yep.
chair here,
I've done that like 4 times.
and that'll totally stretch your material out before you realize it until it's sitting there. The work won't move, but the machine's
Hold
sewing.
all that tension
Yeah.
on it.
This is actually a customer's bag. Dude, it is cold out here. You realize it when you go in the other room. Holy shit, it's cold out here.
All right, you're starving me. Can we eat?
I'm starving. Let me see your work.
You're starving me.
You got a thread right here. See that out there? It is.
I came around to do the other side of that Velcro and ran right off the damn edge.
Are we the same length on these? Pretty close. Yeah, that means you're pulling the same. That means you're not doing anything weird.
I feel like this is going terribly.
Your machine's out of, you like popped out of the bobbin or something. Straight lined a little here and
Something
there.
odd is happening.
Yeah.
Something, it feels loose down here, like jiggly.
No, you're just getting low on the. All right, let's go eat. Still on the same piece. We're going to take this 1.5 inch piece of webbing, and we're going to basically sew it right along the edge of where that edge of the Velcro is next to the zipper. I'm going to start right here on the edge of the Cordura and tack this in. And then I'm going to 90 degrees and sew up this piece of webbing right here. And we want to keep it in line, and you can see the stitches where your zipper is to kind of guide off of. And then we're going to make a mark on this webbing at 4 inches. And that 4-inch mark is because you're going to put 2 inches of the webbing tucked under, and it's going to capture this piece of plastic hardware that the shoulder strap is going to attach to. We're going to come up almost to that piece of plastic. Let me know when you're getting up close to it.
So I'm not going all the way down this?
Well, you know, because we're going to come across, we need to have room to tack this in and turn again. Are you in the webbing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, how far down? So you said 4
You got your
inches.
4-inch mark made?
No, I don't.
Make your 4-inch mark.
Pencil? I have a regular pencil, that's it.
You got a green one behind you there.
All right, which side did you mark that on? On the outside here?
Yeah, you need to be able to see it. Don't make it dark, just enough that you can see it.
You just put it on one side or all the way across that?
Just enough so you know where it is.
Okay.
And then fold it under with that piece, put that piece of plastic on there.
And then the tail of this is going to come to that mark?
That's correct.
And then just continue down that?
You're going to sew up just enough to where you can still pivot and that foot's not going to be in the way sewing.
All right, I'm into that tail now.
Sew on up. Don't let the tail shift. There you go. Now sew this in. You're going to go 1, 2 backwards, 3 forwards. Okay. And then you're going to zigzag backwards. Oh. And we're going to put a second line in there of 1, 2, 3. I just saw a whole special operations shooter kit. The sniper rifle got issued in this thing, all the mags, all this stuff in these big rifle bags we had out here the other day from another company. And I was super surprised to see their handles were just put on, like they didn't even tack them. They weren't tacked in, they weren't bar tacked, they didn't box X them, like it was literally just sewn up and around. Did you notice that? Those big, huge rifle cases Scully had?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And they weren't fucking tacked, they weren't backed up with a second line, nothing. And they're carrying tons of weight in those things.
I didn't like how soft and weird it felt.
And the crazy shit is, it's the same material we use. It's 500 Cordura. Like that's a reputable company. Like that's legit shit.
I think it was like the inside when I touched it. Just like all of it felt flimsy.
It's just, well, it is. That's why our rifle cases are very different. Like people are like, man, I can get a rifle case for $200. You can. Not this rifle case though. Not this.
So we're going to come back down that?
Yep, now we're going to travel back down. And at the end, we're just going to tack that in a few stitches. The more stitching you put through a bunch of material, the stiffer it gets. It just becomes more of a one complete unit. That's why when you touch these things, they're just more robust. They seem to be in place. They don't shift. All right, now we're going to take the other piece and we're going to do the exact same thing
On the same side
on
that
the
that piece
opposite
is?
side. On the opposite.
So it
side.
actually crosses over?
Yeah, because that's why when you pick a rifle case up and it just kind of flips one way or the other,
Yeah.
that's why it does
This'll
it,
help it
because we
balance.
have them on opposite sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
So same thing we did the other way.
Yep.
Just on this side.
Yep. And I'm also kind of stretching the webbing as I go, just a little bit of tension to keep it nice and flat so there's no shift, there's no pucker, it doesn't look pillowy.
I now understand why we need the ruler.
Yeah, you'll use it everywhere. And a lot of times too, you could mark off of just a piece of webbing, right? Like we know this webbing is 1.5 inches.
Yep.
We know this elastic is 2 inches. All right, we're going to cut off that excess Velcro right there on both ends. And while we're still on this piece, we're going to put these zipper pulls on here before we get any further and forget them.
Did you already catch that piece that you were telling me about earlier?
I don't know what piece you're talking about.
You said you ran off somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, I took care of it already. Yeah.
All right, zipper pulls. So you have to feed one from each side?
Uh-huh.
What did I
You
do?
can do them, right? You've put pulls on before.
Yeah. I gotta figure out what I did with my pulls.
They're under your Cordura right here.
Right here? So just split this and then feed it on?
Yeah, split it about 4, 5, 10 teeth. And you're going to put it on one side and then the other side until you feel them, and then you're going to back it up, and then you're going to come forward with it, and it should even up and lock in. Let me see it. Yeah, that's good. Now do the exact same thing. We'll bring them together and make sure we don't have too much pocket in there. It's easier for me to do it the other direction if I had the work facing the other way.
I'm just winging it. Nope.
Trying to work around. There you go.
Like this?
Yep. Way easier.
I feel like I'm fighting it less now.
Feel like what?
I feel like I'm fighting it less now.
Well, you are. Hold both of these here.
Yeah, I want to hold it from the
There you go.
back.
Bring them together about the middle. Yeah, that's perfect. You're good. Are we even here? These are about even here. This, I'd cut this across flush. You just light it, burn it just a little bit.
Now in 6 hours, I've shown you how to build one piece.
All right, that assembly can sit out of the way. Now we'll do the bottom piece. You're gonna want these two skinny pieces. A piece of Cordura, a piece of pack cloth.
These guys here that you marked.
And what we're gonna do, this will shrink more and stretch more.
All right.
It's thinner. It's also slick. We're gonna fold that edge to that line. It's a 1-inch hem, so that line's at 2 inches. And we're just gonna tack this. We're gonna sew this right across here. And it's important.
On the folded edge? Okay.
It's important, so if you're in the middle of the line or right before, it's important that both these pieces be the same, because we're doing the same thing with them. Now I'll run from there, watch here, right from there.
Oh.
I'll just spin this right up and run this straight into the next one. I try to break thread and cut as little as possible. And then I'll grab this next one here and do the same thing, so they're all in a chain. And on this pack cloth as I'm coming, I'm kind of just smoothing it out with my finger before I get to it. I'm pulling it back just a little tiny bit of tension so it lays flat. And then I'm going to come across here and I'm just going to unseparate these. Clip, clip, clip. That one's still under there. Now I'm going to let this one out. There we go. Yep, your hems are identical to mine. They're the exact same size.
This one didn't go as well.
How so?
Kind of bunched up there on the corners. And
Yeah,
then
so
I
the
had
material puckered up. It didn't here though. So your material puckered up a little bit here. It's probably because your bobbin is low. So did you tack this in?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So we can easily then, if it's not tacked in, we
Pull
can get a
that,
hold-
redo it.
We can get a hold of this stitch here. We can pull this out. I would pull that bobbin out and just check it.
Are you tacking on every piece as you're chaining through? So when you hit the...
I do. As I come on into one, and I'll tack. As I'm coming at the end of one of them, I'll tack, and then right.
You're
as I'm
just
coming-
doing that like 2-3 stitches. You're not...
even just one.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so that's out.
For some reason, I want to travel like an inch.
No, you don't
I'm-
need to do that. Especially until that machine, you figure out the corks of that machine. All right, now just reset it. Did you pull your bobbin out? I'd pull my bobbin out, check it, see how much thread I have in there, because that'll change your tension too.
It's at the end.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of times it'll come out of the scarf too.
I had that much.
All right, change your bobbin. That'll change that tension on that, and then you can resew that line. That's enough. Now pull that tail through.
Doesn't matter where, do the slot.
No, I don't ever take the time to do the slot. Half the bobbins don't even have a slot. Now just resew that. You can apply a little tension once you got the first stitch or two in there. You can kind of drag it through your fingers barely. That'll smooth that shit out. Yeah, see, it's coming out way flatter, isn't it?
Yeah, seems like it.
Yep. All right. Set your Cordura aside. Grab your 3-inch piece of velcro. This is what the divider inside is going to attach to. And we're going to sew it to the pack cloth. We've already marked the center of the pack cloth here. And we've marked the center lengthwise. We actually drew a line so we don't have to try to fight it to get it on there. Find the center of your velcro, just like this. Line this up. That crease is going to line up with that line we drew, and we're going to bring this down to the other line. And we're going to sew this starting right up here in the middle. I'm just going to tack this 2 stitches, and I'm going to come down. So we're sewing half of it on, And then we're gonna pass and sew the other half. The reason we're doing that is so we don't have any shift. We're gonna come from the center to the left and we're gonna come from the center to the right.
I don't have a center mark.
You don't have what?
A center mark?
Yeah, you do, I see it.
This?
Yeah,
That's got everything offset to one side.
fold it in half. The other way. There you go. Bring it in, crease it, take a colored pencil and make a mark. That's your center point. We do everything, almost everything we build is from the center. Good?
Yeah, that's an inch over.
Okay. Now take and make a mark on the other side also. Or just use your ruler and use your calibrated eye.
I was about to say, I don't know. I mean, he's got the blood. I don't know.
Something wasn't right.
He machines stuff. Surely he's got it better. He can see smaller
It works with small stuff.
micrometers than I can
But if
see.
you're like, how many feet long is that? Nope, Hey, is that a few thousandths off? Yep, I got you. That's much better. So you said you're starting in the center. Is that right?
Yep, at the top.
At the top.
Look straight ahead. Where your middle finger, there. Don't worry about any of that. Just get it lined up. You're working 2-3 inches at a time. There's a curve in this Velcro from coming off the roll. And the closer you get to the center of the roll, the tighter the roll is, so the more the curve is.
All right, so what have you done here? Just straight across?
Tacked here, came down here. I'm about to turn and come this way.
And you do it from the middle, just stretching.
It is gonna stretch, so I wanna come from the middle here, and then the middle here.
All right, I'm at the bottom.
Okay,
Turn.
pivot. And we're just gonna follow that line. We're gonna work a few inches at a time because the pack cloth is soft and the Velcro is curved a little, so I'm just kind of lining it up. Now that's half of my Velcro sewn on. Now I'm gonna do the exact same thing here. That way you just don't get any shift, because this is so slick, it'll shift. The piece with the zippers that we already sewed all the parts on, that's the most labor in the bag. All right, now we're just gonna continue on past where we locked it in. And we're just gonna duplicate the other side. Yeah. My body fat's way too low to be out here in this cold. I'm comfortable. You do whatever you need to do.
I just broke my thread.
Did your thread just break?
Yeah. Odd.
You'll need to cut it. It won't thread through there. Cut the end off. Why did it do that?
Why did you do that? I have no fucking clue. Right there after the corner.
All right. Take your Cordura and mark inch off of the edge on both sides where that alligator mouth is going to be, that fold over is. Draw you a line. You're going to stitch down that line. You're going to put it on both sides.
Inch right off the edge.
Yeah, always right off the edge.
Both sides.
All right. We're going to flip this under, down, right, so that this side's up. We're going to set this right on top of it, and we're now going to make these two pieces one piece. We're going to line these edges in this top up here, and we're going to take that line we just made, and we're just going to stitch, tack it right in there, and we're going to stitch right down. It is very important that both edges of this be even. We're going to sew right to the edge there and stop. All right, we could have left that connected. We're going to sew, we're going to pivot. Look here. I'm still here. I'm just going to turn, and we're going to sew right down this edge.
Oh.
And we're going to go right to that line and stop. And then we're going to pivot and sew right up on this line. It's important when we're down here because this material's softer. It's going to kind of, when we get a little ways, when we get to about here, we're going to look. And if it's shorter, we're just going to pull on this a little. And if it's longer, we're just going to pull on this. We want these even because we're going to sew right down here also. We're going to leave this edge open because this is the edge we put the foam in once we put the sides on it. We try to not have to fight that foam as much as the bag build is possible. I'm holding right here, Cody, on both sides. Look at me. This is needled down in here, and now I can kind of I can smooth it out and look at where I'm at, put some tension, and that'll hold these two edges that I'm sewing. It'll even them out. And I want to sew a 1/4 inch in from the edge or less. The bigger that pocket is to maneuver that foam, the less we're going to fight it when we put it together. We can always go back inside and sew closer in and tighten it up. Needles down, I'm going to go ahead and turn. And I want to make sure both my edges here are even. Are your edges perfectly even? Where this flap right here, check this out.
I'm off just a hair.
How much?
Pack cloth is hanging out 1/16.
Oh, you can still stretch that. Just kind of pull this over a little bit as you're doing it. Make sure they're even them up and just hold tension here and then just sew right down there. Do you understand what piece you're making right now?
I understand what we're doing with it. I don't know exactly what it is.
Check this out. So that's the bottom of the bag.
Okay. Okay. Now I get it completely.
And that zipper assembly we made is going to go inside here.
Okay.
And we're going to stitch it across this. That's why we want these even. So when we sew these, we catch both sides. And we're going to come across here. We're going to come 2 stitches over, sew it again. We're going to come 2 stitches up, and we're going to come back over it again, and we're going to tack it in several places as well as across the zipper. That will never come out of there. Did you tack it right there?
No.
Tack
Oh, that's right. We're
it.
leaving
You're at
this
the end
open.
there. Yeah, don't sew that close yet. So we got another 5 hours here then. You don't need to leave here till what, 8?
10:30.
Okay. So we're going to take this now, this piece and this piece, and we're going to make it one piece. We're going to make it a hoop.
So you're doing that before any of the foam goes in.
Yeah, ideally you are. You can put the foam in, but it gets a lot harder with the foam in. You're fighting it.
I just don't know.
I know. Yeah, I know. Okay. Now this here, it doesn't matter which side. I call this the alligator mouth. We're going to put this right here, and I'm holding it in my lap and taking as much weight off as possible. And what you're going to see is that this zipper piece here is a little narrower than your alligator mouth. So you want to center it in there.
Even it up on both sides.
And I don't want this all the way into the bite because this shrank up some.
That was my
I
next
want to
question.
pull this out about 1/4 inch. Yours, I'm not sure how yours is going to go until we put it all the way together. You won't know. But I definitely want a little more room to work with. So put it all the way in there so where it's smooth. Look at me. I got it all the way in here and it's smooth, right? I feel it. Look at me. Now I'm going to pull it out about 1/4 inch and I'm going to smooth this back out, and I'm holding this assembly all together, and I'm going to move the work and I'm going to needle strike in there and tack it, and I'm still holding this. It is important that when this goes through this and through this zipper assembly, it stays through that pack cloth also. Now I'm going to just close this up here. You can even take a look if you need to at the edge. And I'm going to run it right down here. And I've just needle struck. I'm still in the work. It's all sewn together, hopefully. And is it? Yes, I'm through all of that. Now I'll wait for you. Close to the edge as you can get. What's that?
What it feels like when a needle hits zipper.
Easy. Yeah, just walk across it.
Yeah, I was not trying to go that fast.
These machines are a little more forgiving, but people with a really lightweight machine, you'll get some needle deflection, and that needle will bend just a little bit, hit that plate, and that's when it'll knock your machine out of time and shatter a needle.
First machine I ever messed with wasn't a servo motor, it was a clutch machine too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was...
Yeah, I've still got machines in there with clutches on them. All right, we're still in. We're at the edge. We're gonna pivot with the needle down 90 degrees. And I wanna come 1, 2 stitches, okay? And the reason I'm doing that is I wanna use this line we just put in as a guide to keep these even, okay? You might go 3, you might go 2. And then I'm just gonna put a line right parallel to that line we just sewed in there. And we know we just came 2 stitches. So I'm down, I'm making my turn again, coming back to the line we sewed the first line, and I know it's 2 stitches, 1, 2. Now I'm back into that same first line, and I'm going to sew right across that. And I'm also going to tack it a little bit as I'm going. Right across the zipper. You could sew it 3 times, or you could tack it several times. And break thread again?
Mm-hmm.
That's that machine that breaks thread.
It's the one you used on the rifle bag video where it was...
Yeah.
It's weird because, like...
It's just a burr or something
yeah,
in
it's
there.
just like some days it's perfect and it's just flying.
Well, it does it at a certain point,
Yeah.
right? And it seems to do it only when he's turning. Is that when it's done it both times, right? When you're turning? Yeah, it's just something.
It's like pressure in the right spot.
Or it's just flexing right there, catching that hook or that shuttle.
I'll pull this back and start over right there. Come down there too.
Want to see it?
I'm straight across right at the moment, not the 2 stitches over.
You're good though. Your line, these are equal, right?
Yeah.
So I would just come back. You ended here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would just come back like 4 or 5 stitches, and just start in there and come, and then
Yeah.
because that's the brunt of the bag. That's where that's holding.
That's all the load.
If something's gonna fail, that's where it's gonna fail. At least in this assembly right here.
Are you confident yet? You do it better than I could ever do.
Here's the thing. I can run the machine. I'm doing things on a machine I've never done before right now. And I'm very slow so that I can control this and try to do it right without having to go back and do it again. All right, so when I come back up the 2 stitches, what am I doing?
Come back into the very first line.
And then tack it?
Come back over it, but sew, I don't know, several stitches, and then tack back, and then sew, and tack back, and sew, and tack back. Get to the zipper, tack back slowly,
Okay.
and then do the same thing the rest of it. You could do it with 3 lines or 4 lines of stitching, but you can also do the same thing by just using the reverse. Some machines sew real shitty when you sew in reverse though.
So on this, come down.
There you go.
Just keep doing that, basically.
Yes. Do it slow enough that you can control it and make it look like it's all in the same line. Is that the zipper?
Past it. It's a wide line.
Okay.
I mean, they're all stacked right next to each other.
All right. Now your other end here, where the zipper, the other end here, you're flush, right? We cut your zipper off flat.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're going to take that and we're going to tuck it into the other side.
Here's what I got.
That looks good. That's good. Apparently I ran out of thread, so I'm going to go back and tack the rest of mine. And then we're going to do the other side.
That's going to be the same way.
Yeah. But we're going to put it all the way in there, make sure it's flat, and then we're going to pull it out a little bit, make sure it's even, and then we're going to tack it in the same manner. We're going to sew that first line at the edge. We're going to come 2 or 3 stitches in, do a second line parallel to it, and we're going to come back over the first line, and we're going to tack it when we come back over the first line multiple times. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's what we just did.
Yes. You will be amazed how many people you deal with in life where they do something
Yeah.
and 5 seconds later do something completely different.
Right, right.
Even though you're like, okay, do it again.
Yeah. Repeatability. Now, why are we pulling this back that 1/4 inch?
Why are we not putting it all the way up in the edge in the
Yeah.
bite?
Uh-huh.
Because I need to adjust the patterns. I need to put a 1/4 inch into the pattern. And yours,
So this is so it fits together, right?
I would rather have it too big than too small. So by bringing it out, I can move that excess easier than I can make the other piece stretch longer.
It's raining.
It's been raining, yeah.
Now this is looking crooked here.
Did you sew your bite crooked? What do you mean it's looking crooked?
Well, it's looking,
You're
something's not right here.
1 inch here,
So I went along that
1 inch
line.
here, but here you're not. You're about 1 1/4 here.
Yeah, that's crooked.
That's all right. We can
Oh, I
still
ran. I see now.
we can still make it. Just work off of this edge rather than the bite. So put it in here. We know we're in there. We're now adjusted so that we're pretty straight. Now we're going to pull it out a little bit. I would put it about, yeah, that's plenty. I'd put it right about there. Okay. We really probably need 2 more cameras to do this. If you just cut that really close, you don't have to cut 2 more. I notice when you cut it, you usually cut it like 1 inch or so away, and then you come back and cut off the inch.
I don't know why I do that.
Just do it all in one. All right,
I have a loop.
now you have the hoop. This is the top, the bottom, and the sides. Let me see it. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Did it wad up there at the zipper?
No, you have a space like where you jumped across or something. I don't know what happened there. All right, good. Fold it in half again, and just set it aside. Now grab your Cordura panels. This is the long sides, the front and the back. And we are going to take these and we are going to mark these for center. Let me have that
On the inside or outside?
on the outside, always, because that's where we're gonna sew. Let me have that pencil so you got one, I got one.
Oh.
I got the silver one, it's not showing on this Highlander.
All right, so I've got center marks on
I
the
think I
face
already
here.
marked yours, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, and then you've got the spot for the Velcro.
And these are the marks where we're gonna put the final bag together too. So there's
So we
that.
don't need anything on the inside?
What do you say? All right, so off of there, you're gonna come over two inches or so. You're gonna make a mark 2 inches down here, and this is where you're going to set your Velcro. That's what we're doing right here. We know where the center of the bag is. Now we're gonna come 2 inches from that top edge, and we're gonna take this 4-inch Velcro. We're putting 4 on here. You guys can put 3-inch or 2-inch, whatever. This is just to put patches or name tapes on. And then I'm gonna fold this in half. And I know where the center here. I'm gonna put that middle on that line, and then I'm gonna line this up on the line we just made. And this is where that Velcro is gonna go. I'm gonna start at the top corner. I'm gonna sew down a few stitches. I'm gonna come back up and lock it in. And then I'm just gonna come to the bottom of that corner. I'm going to pivot. I'm gonna sew across the bottom edge. Needle down, just starting to come up. That's where you want to make your pivot. Same thing, top edge, needle down, just starting to come up. Now I'm coming my final line. I'm on the 4th edge there. I'm going to come in, tack it. Now we're done right there. That piece of Velcro is on there. That's done. How close to the edge are you? It looks like you're right on it.
Fucking on it.
Come back in about a 1/8 of an inch. I wouldn't rip that so close. You'll rip the edge of that Velcro.
Yeah, I just did.
You can flip it over and use the tip of a razor blade and just peck those. You cut 1 stitch, and then you can use your small screwdriver to pull the stitches out.
I've done piddly stuff on my own. I've put Velcro on before. I shouldn't be fucking this up right now. Never done anything complete, never really done anything in a production capacity. Just all kind of just messing around. And I mean, most of it was years and years ago, nothing recent. Driver, what am I doing here? So I mean, as far as experience goes, I've messed with a machine, but I've never done anything like this before. I know that most of this is simple, but it feels like this is a little much to be starting with.
Well, I would say
It's
you're starting with like the hardest thing that he makes.
no,
almost.
no, not even close.
Besides rigs, obviously.
No, there's much more. And I mean, I have made some belts before.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably made a belt.
You know, I've made a couple belts, personal stuff. Nothing that ever went to a customer.
All right, now's a good time to go ahead and make the handles. We're going to take these 2-inch pieces. And again, we're going to find the center just by lining the 2 edges up and pinching this. Might as well do it both at the same time. Find the center on both of them. And the reason we're doing that is because from the center, I'm going to make a mark 2.5 inches each way, so we have a 5-inch piece. And once you have marked one, and this will help you when you're doing quantities of stuff, once you've marked one, you no longer have to measure any of them. You can use that as the master, and then just transfer those marks over to the other pieces of material or webbing.
How far are we now?
Off center, 2.5 both ways. So you got a 5-inch.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you'd done that yet. I did hear that part in the video last night.
And you can make these halfway, or you can make the marks all the way across. How much are expensive welding hoods?
A few $100. I mean,
The dude was asking, he called it a grain scoop, I think he called it. A grain scoop welding hood. I'm like, yeah, I guess they are kind of a...
that's the style of, but I mean, you see pancakes, which is like a flat circle with a lens in it.
Because the dude asked, he said, would that helmet bag fit a welding mask? And while, yeah, I've got those up there too. I go, while it will, it's fucking really expensive to carry a welding mask around.
I mean, some of them are super nice, and I don't know what price point your
Why is that
bag's at,
compressor over there so quiet compared to the old one? Because it's a twin cylinder?
yeah, it's a 2-stage instead of
Two-stage.
2-stage. It is a 2-cylinder. It's not having to cycle as fast to produce the same amount of air.
Got it. All right, so we're gonna take this now. I fold mine inside so you don't see the marks, and then I just know where that mark is, right? You can do it with the marks on the outside also while you're learning to do this so that you can better see the marks.
I don't know what we're doing here.
These marks,
Oh, okay.
we're folding this in half, and right here, watch me do this. I'm just gonna sew this here. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pivot, and I'm holding this. I can line this up here, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm just going down, down.
Oh, so you did that on the outer edge, on the outer
Now
mark.
watch. I'm gonna go here, 1, 2, 3, but I'm gonna go 4 here because I wanna come back. I want a second line right here.
Okay.
I don't ever wanna have to warranty this, and this is what a man's hand's touching right here.
Yep.
So if something's going to fail, it's going to be this stitch line here. I'm gonna just tack that in there. Now I'm gonna duplicate it. This is the handles. We see companies put fish aquarium tubing, I've seen plastic dowels, I've seen garden hose, like all kinds of shit inside them. I don't put anything inside them. It just doesn't need it. I don't have enough light out here. Typically I'll do it on the inside, and this pink colored pencil isn't showing up very well.
Right.
That's why I put them on the outside here. A lot of times I'll mark all this shit just with a ballpoint pen, so I don't want that on the outside because you'll see it. Mm-hmm. I'll mark a lot of shit too with a Sharpie, but if you let it dwell too long, it will bleed through and you'll see it on the other side.
Right.
We've had so many fucking people just ruin material using a Sharpie, and by the time it gets out to production, it's like leached, it's weeped its way through on the, you know, coyote and shit.
Pack cloth especially.
Yeah, pack cloth's really bad for it. Pack cloth has changed. And I heard somebody say it the other day. I heard a guy say he had 400 and 420 available. The only pack cloth I ever saw was always 420. And now everything you see is 400. It's just that 420 is just a little bit heavier. And that's the raw size of the thread that they wove the material out of.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what the difference between 500 and 1,000 denier.
I thought it was like a weave count. I didn't realize it was the size of.
the size of the thread. I believe so. I mean, somebody will be along to tell me, especially if I'm wrong. Somebody will be here to correct me. A guy that you've never seen and will never comment again, but he'll be here to tell you. Might as well do the second handle while we're here doing this. Duplicate it wherever my second handle went. It's gone. This rifle case is only going to have one handle. It's later in the day, so I have a lot more shadows in here now.
How this works.
Don't you have all the, what are these, Godoc lights? Godax? Don't you have these on a solar tracker or something? So inside it knows what the actual light outside is doing? Scully said he was supposed to be coming by here. He's got that those Rangers with him, and his buddy
Terrible.
Dave.
See if I can do better this time.
Yep.
What, Ranger Dave?
No. Yeah, he's got some war heroes with him.
Oh, you know, just those guys.
Actual war heroes. Not that Dave isn't, but no, it's not the Ranger Dave.
Not the Dave.
I have such high hopes if I ever get to meet him.
You haven't met Dave?
Well, I got a picture. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he sent me a picture of Dave. I go, do you fucking have custody of Ranger Dave right now? And he goes, he's playing
nearby.
violin with my daughter. and he's got one of those crazy carbon fiber electric violins. I go, oh, of course, that's no kidding. Out of all the crazy shit, the violin is probably what impresses me the most.
I'm not surprised in the slightest. I mean, helicopters, guitar, cowboy.
Made all his own cowboy shit. Like, used nothing that he didn't make for 12 months.
So freaking deep.
Made his saddle. I mean, made all of it.
We need to do like episode 150 or like 200 or something on the podcast where I fly Ranger Dave in on a helicopter.
Yeah, flies in. And then
He would
lives
fly
as
the
Louis L'Amour
helicopter.
for 12 months. Sling load his horse.
Here I was thinking I was going to have this thing done in like 4 hours.
That handle?
Huh?
That handle?
I don't like it.
4 hours for the handle?
I don't like the handles.
Why?
They don't look good.
They look better than a lot of companies' production shit looks. It looks pretty okay, man.
It's not up to my standard.
Okay, well.
All
All right.
We're putting handle on one of these?
Take this piece you put the Velcro, and make me some marks 1 inch away from the Velcro. And be cognizant of where those 2-inch marks are also, because that's the depth, that's the height where you're gonna sew that last line.
went all the
One
way
inch,
across.
and you what?
You went all the way across. That's what I was looking at.
And then if your 2-inch marks weren't out there enough and you covered them with the Velcro, get some 2-inch marks out there also, so you know how high you're gonna sew, where you're gonna start sewing this thing. You understand what you're making right here? You're doing these right here, Cody.
Yeah. I'm looking to make sure I have what I need.
2 inches down,
Yeah.
1 inch away from the Velcro on each side. This handle, we're gonna sew it in like this, right? So the bite is on the top, okay? Not the sewn part's on the bottom. That's how you have it right there, okay? I wanna take this handle right here, look at me. And I wanna sew it right here. But I'm gonna start sewing this way and then I'm going to travel up, okay? So I'm gonna come right here and I'm just gonna tack right there. I'm gonna sew up here. Now,
So that the way you have that there isn't backwards?
this is how I want it.
No, I'm looking at your loop being, I think you have your handle upside down.
I don't have my handle upside down.
No?
This is how I put every handle on that we make. Everything
That
goes this
seems
way.
backwards to me.
Nah, it's just the way it's looking. It's not.
I'm just saying the gap.
This is the top, this is the bottom. I want a 2-inch and a 4-inch.
I'm just gonna have to wait and see because this.
Oh no, you are right.
This doesn't make
Yeah,
sense in my
no,
head
you're right.
otherwise.
You're right. You're right. I am. You're correct.
That wasn't adding up to me.
Yeah, we're talking about two different things here. Yep. Okay, watch here. I made my mark on both sides because I'm going to cover it. I want to know where this stops right here, 2 inches
Right.
from the edge, okay? So I'm going to travel up here, 2 inches from the edge, and then this is where I'm going to do my box X. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I want to make a mark from that top line down, but I don't want it 2 inches like the webbing. I want it 1.5. I want this to be a 1.5 by 2. I'm going to travel here. I'm going to go 1, 2. I'm in the corner. I'm going to come to this corner. I'm going to travel across here. I'm in the corner. I'm going to come down to this corner. I'm going to zag back. Okay. And then I'm just going to tack back up rather than travel down. I'm going to go up. We're going to duplicate that on all 4 of them.
I'm gonna have to figure that out on the next one.
Figure what out?
How you made it back around to the same point that you needed to be at.
You can go back around it if you need to.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do right here.
All right, look here. A box X is actually 9 stitches, okay? When you're coming up, you're here. Here's 1,
Yep.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you travel down, right? So that gives you 3 lines of stitching at the top edge, at the leading edge, 2 lines of stitching at the bottom. Watch again. We've just sewn, we're starting to sew this handle on, coming up, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, back across is 5, over is 6, across is 7, diagonal is 8, and then back is 9, and then you just travel down to lock this in.
See, I thought you came up and
did.
then did 1, 2, 3 at the
I did.
top. See, that's what I did, and that I don't know where I went wrong from
I
there,
did.
but
I just showed you the tradition, the real way to do it.
I mean, I did it.
Yeah, nobody can count it. They don't know what's in there. But
There's
a
a
program
lot.
machine
There's
or
a
a
lot.
rigger will tell you that's how it's done. Leading edge is this edge that bears all the brunt, where it's going to catch, where you're going to have the damage, right?
Right.
We have 3 there. We have this backing this up in case that ever comes off. The bags we just had in here from a real high-end contract, right?
Yeah.
All they were was up here and around and down. They didn't even have an X or a second line back there.
Right.
All right, now duplicate that on the other piece. You need to put your Velcro in there and put your handle on.
I'm still on the second
Okay,
side of my
go ahead.
first handle.
Yep. Gin and juice.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some caffeine soon.
You thought 4 hours.
Yeah, what are we at now? 5?
No.
4?
Right now, we're only at 2.
This might be a 2-part video.
This is going to be like a 3-part.
Well, what I mean is this might be, we might end up having to do this in 2 parts.
Oh, I have a feeling. Also, or 3.
I'm in desperate need of some energy. Like, I could take a nap on this fucking table right now.
Stop and go get something to drink.
Let me run up this. Probably not. What's he saying? Who knows?
I don't know.
I know I'm crooked as fuck right here. And I overshot it. That's not what I wanted.
All right, you got Velcro on that other one?
No, I'm still on the first one.
Oh, okay.
I'm really stumped by this box X.
Don't worry about it.
Hit your volume button. Yeah, every time you do a box up, I'm doing this. You're always going so fast, I can't keep up with exactly how it's done.
That's how everything I do is.
There's one. I make my marks. Marky mark.
Pretty much the best at everything.
Fast.
Nobody thought a 4-minute mile could be run till that dude did it, and then 23 people did it that year.
I went from, I just learned how to ride a bicycle to now we're on the racetrack.
You went from you just learned how to ride a bicycle to you're in the middle of a Formula One race. You're in an acrobatic aircraft and you never even did a flight simulator.
How do you nail that corner so well?
What do you mean?
When you're doing the X from corner to corner?
Oh, you could even do it backwards too. You don't even have to pivot. You could back it up, do the X in reverse, and then come across. It's just a lot of overload right now. It'll make sense when you do it a bunch. You'll also count your stitches. You'll know that if you're coming across 1-inch webbing and you've got 7 stitches, when you hit the corner, you come down 7 stitches and that'll be equal. And then you can come across. So you don't have to measure it.
teaching a series now where Cody has to teach you something?
Or I have to what?
You have to teach John something now.
I don't have access to any of the equipment that I could do that with. It's not that anything I do is difficult, it's all just math.
Chelsea Clinton gets paid $3.9 million a year from the USAID program.
Why?
Oh, because Chelsea Clinton receives an annual reoccurring funding from USAID allocated by Obama for her foundation, which provides afternoon meals to children in Africa, India, and Bangladesh. So for that, right? However, as of today, the reported number of meals served stands at 11,886, implying an astonishing cost of $1,410 per meal.
Holy shit.
That's how these motherfuckers are all so rich, because they all fucking just pay each other for bullshit. Her net wealth is $70 million. Her husband's net worth is $45 million. Her inheritance is $52 million. Her earnings from USAID earnings on an annual basis, she gets paid $3.9 million from that program. That's what they're all screeching about right now that Elon Musk just got in. He's the one that's dumping all the info.
Per year? Is that what those numbers
Per
are?
year. Her real estate assets, she owns $25 million in real estate. She monthly spends, so just her cost of living is $100,000 a month. And her car collection, she has 8 cars. All the people in there screeching, Pocahontas and all them, the fucking, you know how much, Ocasio-Cortez, you know how much she's worth right now? $80 million. She's been in Congress for what, 4 years? 8 years? She was a bartender, couldn't pay her rent 8 years ago. That's because these motherfuckers pay each other. Pharmaceutical companies buy them off.
It's like when they hire a contractor, they're not paying normal rates for what that stuff would be.
That's right. Well, you're going to find as soon as they audit the Pentagon. That's what they're squealing about right now. Like the Kash Patel thing. They've put, allowing him in off by a week because they know he's going to get in and fucking, what they're showing right now with USAID, they're about to go in and audit the IRS, and they're about to audit the FBI, and they're about to audit the CIA, and audit the Pentagon. You know, Rumsfeld said they were missing $63 trillion they couldn't account for. You know what happened the next day after he said that on the news? 9/11, and that fucking missile.
Oh, yeah.
Destroy the evidence.
Yeah,
Just make you look somewhere else while they're doing that.
that's exactly it. Just like
Distraction.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to find the center of this. You're going to put it on this vertical line, and you're going to rest it on the horizontal line right there on that axis.
I don't have a vertical line.
Okay, fold it in half.
Find a
Make
center
mark
mark
at the
and
top and the bottom. Connect the line. You're sure that's the longer piece, right? It matches your panel.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Does the actual Apprentice actually have like a coating on it or anything?
The
Yeah.
back does.
Got a polyurethane spray on it.
It would fray really bad otherwise.
Yeah, it sure would.
Need some more pencil here.
Man, that was super difficult. I couldn't even imagine trying to sharpen that like that.
Yeah, it's not working very well. It didn't work very well.
It goes like this, man.
Yeah, I'm backwards. I have so much going through my head right now, I don't even know what's going on anymore. That is something I can do. I can make everything look very hard.
All right, so we're just gonna center this. We do that vertical line, and then the horizontal line is what you're gonna sew it against. That just helps you keep it level and even. We're gonna tack it at the top, we're gonna bring it down, and just so we don't have any stretch or anything on this, we're gonna come right from the center and go both opposite directions. Good?
Yep.
And then when I come back to where that vertical line was, I'm just gonna pass it and go right down the other side. Still being cognizant of where that line we drew is. So that, because this will shift if you don't pay attention to it, it will climb one direction. Are your Velcros lined up on that end?
Not quite.
Yeah, you're off on the other end.
Yeah, I'm off on the other end, and this one came just a hair past the other. But I mean, I've got that much on the other side.
I wonder why it did that.
See what happens on the next piece.
It has to be cut a little different.
Could be, I cut them by hand.
That's what happened.
I mark them and cut them by hand.
That's what happened. I cut them on the cutter. All right.
What's going on here? I'm stuck. Fucking mess underneath. Figure out what I've done here real fast.
Yeah, you better pull your bobbin out too. Reset it. Hold on, you're not done with that.
All right.
You see the tail on this bobbin right here?
Yeah.
The one you put in there when you loaded
I trimmed
that?
it.
Okay. All right. Because that'll definitely do that.
Yeah, I trimmed it.
All right. Take this line, this first line we put here.
Yep.
Start right about here and make it look the same down here. That's solely just for aesthetics.
Same thing on the other piece.
You gotta duplicate it.
Hungry again.
Did it cut the thread?
Yeah, I watched it happen.
Did it cut it when you were turning the corner?
Yep.
I don't know why that's doing that. Needle bar down just a little bit. The needle might be too close to the hook. Might need to set the hook in a little bit. You got a calculator on there? Add this up. Let's just say 40 times 5 times 52.
Times 52.
How many is that?
10,400.
Well, that's a yearly amount at $5 an hour. No.
Yeah, when people are like, how do you sew? Well, 1,000 hours. If you do 1,000 hours of something, or 1,000 times, it'll get pretty good at it. You figure that's the minimum hours
To be proficient.
that I sew in a year. And that's just at 5. We know that I sew way more than that a lot of times. So take that now and times that by 30, which is also low.
312,000.
That's how. Like, I'll sit and sew for hours while dudes are watching TV or whatever. Do you even have TV anymore when they're watching Netflix or whatever? They're just sitting and watching it, right? I'm doing this while it's kind of being listened to. And even stuff where I'll just sew a bunch of shit because I'm so much faster. I'm still consuming the content, I'm still taking notes, I'm still looking up things that the video's about. But I've done in 2 hours, I've done what it'll take 3 people 2 hours to do, and then all they have to do is just finish it in the morning.
I still came out a hair longer on that one.
Yeah, mine is too. It's because you cut them. Fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, now take one of these and one of those. And I don't care which side you start from, but start on the long edge. And we're gonna sew. We're gonna leave both. We're gonna leave an end open.
We're gonna do both long sides, one short side.
Yeah. We're gonna leave a short side open. Pay attention here if your machine is puckering this up or doing anything weird. You can hold both pieces and just apply a little tension because we want them true to size. We want them, am I catching on something? What's going on? And we need the edges as even as possible. And you see how this will stretch just from putting a little tension on here. I'm coming out a little, almost a 1/4 inch long right here, and I'm only halfway. I'm gonna start my egg stand this weekend.
Oh, yeah?
My egg business.
I've seen people with camera eggs.
Oh yeah, all the time. I'm gonna take whatever the most expensive one is and charge $1 more than that.
Got a dozen eggs here. I'll trade for no less than 20 acres of homestead land.
I saw that somebody posted that.
Don't lowball me. I know what I got.
Well, I mean, Walmart's got them listed at $9 a dozen, $8 a dozen. That still doesn't pay what it costs, and that's giving that's paying you $0 for your man hours, just in feed and shit.
I like that. There was a comment I saw on there. It was just like a random kid who just goes, "Damn, how many eggs are you guys eating?" He's like, "Why is everybody so obsessed with eggs?"
Yeah, I do eat a lot of eggs.
2 a month.
But if I'm in a hurry, like when we're filming and I need to really be on, I'm better off just having MRE.
Yeah.
I'll have 4 scoops of MRE, and I won't eat anything until lunch.
Is that 4 scoops of light or full?
Full. If I want carbs.
That's the serving size of full anyways, is 4 scoops.
Yeah. At night, I'll take like right before video, I'll have 2 scoops of that, and then a scoop of MRE light with it.
Did you say you were stretching?
Stretching.
Yeah, you said you were halfway down. And
Are you even?
I'm dead nuts.
Good.
I'm also just now down one side and you're done.
I'm done with both sides. I sewed the other panel also. My whole bag's together.
I'm already done here.
I've built 3 bags. If it wasn't such a hassle to keep the parts separated, I would have brought another one out here. This is actually a customer's right here.
In my mind, I was thinking for Cody to go from start to finish, 8 hours.
8?
Yeah.
What are we at right now?
Man, I really thought 4. I thought I'd have one done in 4.
Like actual roll-on video?
Yeah. 3 hours of video.
We're to the point, as soon as the back's on the other panel, the bag bodies are done. We just have to put the bag together now, which is really, that's the more precision piece. That gives you the whole bag. The bag is done at that point. Now we have to build the divider, and we have to build the foam, the foam I-beams.
Getting all those edges sewn,
What edges?
or just like when it's flipped inside and we kind of get those at that bottom.
Well, I'm glad I saw that.
No, I got an easier way to do it.
I was totally about to catch
I got
this
a better
handle
way
in
to
that.
Yeah, you can sew it from the handle side up too. Okay, now do the other one. Ideally with the same end open, because when you flip it, that'll give you opposite ends where we're going to stuff the foams from.
Okay.
You can sew it from the handle side top if you want.
This.
Look, Mom, no hands. I can ride your mom with no handlebars. No handlebars. High score. Did I win? Did I break? High score. Did I win? Did I break it? I don't know. It's a movie, Mama's Boy or whatever. The nerd's playing some video arcade game, and it's like, high score, and you get to enter your name. He's like, high score? Did I win? Am I the winner? You're the top winner of ever in the video game. You never played a video game where you got high score and you got to put your name in the arcade? Like it enters it into the machine.
Yeah. I mean, like the skating or stuff.
Yeah, in arcade games.
Yeah, and then the box. Sing the punching game one.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
The one where you hit the thing?
Yeah.
Or the strongman hammer?
Yeah. And a bowling alley, a big one was the basketball game.
Yeah. If we had stupid money that we just didn't know what to do with, we'd build a fucking arcade and shit. I'd say we'd bulldoze this whole fucking property down. But like, that's stupid. Why would we even stay here? We'd go someplace and buy the top of a mountain, and we'd buy the mountain, and then we'd cut the top off the mountain. And then we would drill straight down in the mountain like a giant volcano, and then we would put a parking garage inside, and then we would put the dirt back on top. Yeah, like a silo. We'd have a helicopter. Airwolf would pull out the side of the side.
We'd have to build Mount Willismore.
That's right. You know they're talking about putting fucking Trump on Mount Rushmore.
Oh man, they'd be pissed.
Oh my god. We actually should probably do that shirt. Mount Rushmore with Trump on it. They'd lose their shit. Pretty far off the edge right there. You see that quarter inch of woodland hanging out on the end?
Am I?
Right here, man.
Oh, yeah, up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came up. It came up a little short.
Right. What's that gonna do back here, though? Okay, so
Is it going to be an issue?
I would have had you right here, just pulled on
Start
this,
stretching.
and if just for like 2 inches, it would have stretched it out to where it's even. It'll work. It'll be okay. We'll make it go together, right?
It'd be like Ted when they put the stuffing back in, a little fucked up.
Wasn't that Marky Mark in that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. Are there 4 on there already?
Yeah.
I got Washington and I got Abraham Lincoln. Who are the other 2?
Oh, I don't know. I just know there's 4.
It's pretty small when you see it in real life.
Wow.
What?
You made my mark crooked.
Show me.
And I made the Velcro crooked on the mark. Shit.
Thomas Jefferson and Theodore Roosevelt.
All right, there we go. Yeah, you are fucking crooked.
Yeah. This one's still a little bit, but better.
It'll still function.
Oh, yeah.
We won't.
Yeah, I'm glad we're not selling this to somebody.
Aesthetic. Oh, we wouldn't sell this. No. Like, we would kick that back. Really, like, with stuff like this, you really need to look at each assembly and not just let production run it, right? It needs to come up for QC because there's so much time and money involved in this that you have to, if we just, like tool bags, right? We should never just get a finished tool bag on quality control. You should have both assemblies separate because at that point, we can still fix it or correct it if it needs to be. Once it's together, there's no fixing it.
Right.
It literally takes 3 times more money to fix something than to do it correctly. By the time we cut it apart, sew it back, and with quality QC involved, it literally takes 3 times as much. It costs 3 times to correct it than to do it right one time.
All right, I gotta pee.
Huh?
I gotta pee.
All right, you wanna just cut it for today? We'll do a second installment. All right, guys, so that is basically what we have built. Is the zipper comes around to the bottom, and we've built the front and the back. Now we are ready to close it up and actually make it a bag, which you will see next week. And then next week we will also build the divider and the foam inserts, which make the bag fully rigid. And we'll see you guys next week. And you should also be able to build your own bag by now. So this weekend, go ahead and build these 2 assemblies, and you'll be ready and waiting when we come back and show you how to finish this up.